Hey y'all, we're back. We're back.
Hi.
Can you believe it? Our day is day 5.
Already?
It's day 5.
Girl, we're like, boom.
It's Friday. How y'all feeling? You feeling good?
I'm good.
Not as good as that, obviously. I'm a little tired today. I'm feeling a little tired, but
It's been a long week, baby.
it's been a lot.
Yeah.
But regardless, we are here to remind you that we've been talking about appreciating little things and what that looks like and how you can do it. And one of the littlest things, but the biggest things, is just creating little pockets of time to do these exercises and things we've been talking about. Make sure they can hear you because of how important it is. You want to hold the book up for a second? So we've been working out of this book, Fat and Happy. It's going to be, I know the light.
King Claire.
I know, the light. You got to go closer.
Boom. Like all up in your grill.
Exactly. So it stands for focus, attention, and take time. I know I'm a thick girl, and it says fat in the cover. It's not a memoir. It's not. It really is about how can you, as a midlife woman, find joy, find everyday joy, instead of focusing on the negative or focusing on the things that aren't working. And that's what we've been talking about this entire week. And specifically because a lot of times this is what we're thinking about. We're worried about our weight, right? And we want to make sure that you're aware that it's not the physical weight that's the most important, but it's the emotional weight.
Because emotional weight, it adds on physical weight to your body. When you have that stuck trauma and emotions in your body, it manifests itself in so many different ways, and health problems, and also.
Do you want to share a little bit?
Can I?
I mean, about your experience with this.
Okay, dude. So this week, like I mentioned before, has been quite a bit. I had a huge session the other night with my mentor, and it ended up being almost
3 hours,
which is not normal. Like, that is not a normal size session. Okay. But I had been doing so much work leading up to this that it was crazy, because then the other day we're going through all of this and my body is just like physically releasing, and also mentally, emotionally, and psychologically just like dumping everything. So then I wake up, sleep all day. Actually, the next day I slept like all day.
Yeah.
And then I go and I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, oh my goodness, I have abs. How do I have abs? And I'm like, I called my daughter. I'm like, look at this. She's like, Mom, she goes, you lost so much weight.
Yeah.
Chatone, I legit in one day lost at least 4 inches around my tummy. God's honest truth. And then my face is a lot thinner.
Yeah.
Right? So the inches, the weight, like my pants were like, whoop, whoop, all because of something. Well, it wasn't just something, but like years.
A lot,
like 40 years.
You understand with tapping.
Of trauma.
Like with tapping. And the funny thing is, there's a lot of natural medicines out now. They're always talking about, it's going to flatten your stomach. It's going to flatten. And a lot of those things are because they're working with the gut. They're working with gut health. The unfortunate things, a lot of times people are just like, oh my God, it's going to make me thin. I don't have to take one of these other drugs. So they want to take that, but it may not be the thing you need. So you got to be careful taking them. Just from experience, be careful with some of the things. Read the ingredients, make sure, because sometimes it has different levels of caffeine and that can do something else to your heart, things like that. Tapping doesn't have side effects. That's the most important thing, except maybe making your pants bigger. Like, how cool is that? But it happened to me working with my other naturopath.
Yes.
I went down to her home. I worked with her for about 3 days, and literally the next day, I had just bought a pair of leggings, and to go down there in, and I went to we worked for like 6 hours. When I go in, it's a retreat day. Like, I go all the way in, and the next morning we were going to go out. We were going to get massages, and we were spending the day together. And my leggings fell, like they literally were gapping from my body, and I could walk out of them. And that's unheard of. So I went to her. I was like, "What happened?" She's like, "No, but what had happened was interesting. I drank about a half a bottle, like about this size. This is what I drank during about half of this size while I was working with her. And I kid you not, I peed about 40 gallons.
Yeah.
I was in the bathroom I didn't move my bowels. My bowels usually move. I know it's like TMI, but literally I urinated like gallon after gallon after. It was so. What's happening is all that's inflammation in your tissues. That's in your face. That's in your neck. That's in your abs. That's in your body. I usually hold a lot of inflammation up here, and all of that's draining from your body. Right, you're replenishing with other hydration, but it's being held in cells that don't need it.
Yeah,
and that's how that works.
it was the craziest feeling ever.
Yeah. You haven't experienced it. I've experienced it before.
It's like I saw her go through it when we went down there, you know, so I saw her completely change, but to have it happen personally to this extreme extent.
It's let me tell you something. This is not to be like, don't play, right? You know, you have to work with professionals with this because it can take you to a place. And one of the things about today that I want to talk about is the fact that, you know, either doing work like this that can bring you to a level of joy and up level your joy quotient, or not knowing that you're worthy of doing it, right? Not knowing you're worthy of the time of taking the 30 seconds every hour of the hydration of those small pockets of time to be quiet, or needing to tap for 3 hours, which is rare, but in a trauma capsule, it's necessary.
It's very necessary.
And so we did that. So our question for you today is, what has prevented you from purposely putting joy and laughter in your life? It's not something you think about. What's preventing you from doing it?
But can I speak on me for a second? Did I just put up my hand like I'm in school?
Do I look like a teacher? What are you doing?
No.
Ms. Bustos?
Yes. So, what I have found in my past is that, like, people can be addicted to the trauma. They can be addicted to the pain. And my identity revolved around everything that I was going through, all of that chaos. So then there was a section of my life where I was like, well, if I let all this go and I start healing, then who am I? Like, what do I do with myself? What do I talk about? There is so much to talk about besides this. Let me tell you what.
I know.
It's amazing. But you can get to a point where also it's like a crutch. Yeah, it's an addiction like sugar or caffeine or these other things, alcohol things. Trauma can be a crutch addiction.
Yeah. So that could be something that's purposely putting in front of you that I'm not happy. Like you're afraid. I know a lot of people that I've worked with and talked to, even having my clients, that feel that if they're joyful or even laugh after someone passes, that it's like a sin. Like they stop themselves short of laughter and joy. You think if you had that person with you just the day before, even if they were dying, wouldn't they have wanted you to laugh? They would. My dad, when he was dying, man, I mean, it was so intense when my father was dying, but we laughed until we couldn't, till the last moment, because my father was hallucinating. I'm not so much, what is this, Percocet and God knows what else, other cocktail they gave me. He was in hospice and he was like hallucinating, and so we just would get in there with a hallucination because he was talking about he wanted to eat and he really couldn't eat because his stomach was basically gone, and he was dreaming about, but he didn't know he was hungry. He had a feeding tube, but he's like dreaming about pork chops, right? Because it's my favorite thing. He's like, "Did you see the pork chop? It's right there." I'm like, "Coming out the wall, Dad." He's like, "It's right there. Can you get it?" And I was like, and then we would laugh, and he wasn't laughing, but we were, and he was dying. But it was like, there's nothing wrong with having joy at the same time that you're going through something negative. You can give yourself permission to do that. It's one of the things we would definitely tap on if you find yourself unable to laugh, unable to have joy, or you think that it's a sin for you.
Or get angry when other people are happy.
Oh, well, that's a big one.
That's a whole other podcast.
That's a big one. Or that jealousy around that. And knowing that if you're not feeling it, if you feel that you can't, take a moment and think about, what is it that's preventing me? Why am I not able to get in joy? Even for a few minutes. Like, why am I not able to? It's usually something deeper. You may be really kind of trapped in some trauma or trapped in some negativity that you need to express and let out. And one of the things about working with us, I know we seem kind of crazy, but one of the things about working with a team of people, a team of women who are really compassionate, is that we're able to, I mean, we work together really nicely. We have a good synergy, but when one of us sees one thing, the other one is working with you tapping. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, okay, let's tap on this. You're not working with just one person. Now, you can, of course, work with us one-on-one, but it's really nice to be able to work with two people at a time and really see what gaps, what's happening in my life, what am I missing? Mm. So, you know, the question really comes up, like, what's going to motivate you? What's going to motivate you to move, to realize that even if you've been sad all year, you know, or like in Morgan's case where you have periods of time, you know, every year where it's like things are very dark, you know, what will it take for that time to get shorter? One of the things I know you're doing is prep time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So making sure that I'm like mentally and emotionally consciously putting myself into a good place before I even have to go and address things. Like, for example, I took like a hot second to tap on myself on my way down here. Like the day that I came down here, like my dog got sick, so I had to wait for the vet anyways to see if they could get him in. And then when that happened, I was like, okay, well, let me utilize this time because I know it's going to be a long drive. There's going to be crazy people on the highway. But more than anything, it was leading up into this week.
Yeah.
Honestly, because like as a mom, like you want to protect, you know what I mean? So it's not just my emotions and my traumas and my triggers around this whole situation. It's like, what are the babies remembering? Like, what are they going through leading up to this? Do they even recognize what this week is? You know what I mean? Are they conscious enough of it too? Right. But like going into December, they're very, very well aware of what's coming around the corner, you know?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think, you know, maybe this is a different, you know, you're having a different experience than what we're talking about. However, if you can decide that that you will set the time aside to, again, we're amping up joy. You can do it with this book. You can do it with us. You can do it on your own. But take some time to like really journal it out and realize that if you realize that maybe you're like a very happy person, maybe you're a very religious person, maybe it's like a terrible thing if you're not in joy because it means something about you. It's okay for you to admit it. It's 2024. Ain't nobody happy, okay? So it's okay. It's really okay to be like, I'm not okay.
There you go. Acknowledging
it's
it.
Okay to not be okay.
Yes.
What's not okay, from my perspective, is to stay stuck. And that's what Getting to After is about. We're about helping women to transform by tapping and also by journaling, by coaching, by getting to their core energy, and by helping them to reframe negativity, negative events, relationships, and learning what that reframing looks like.
Yeah.
So that they can do it effectively on their own. Our goal is that we graduate you. That's always my goal when I have a coaching client, is to graduate you. We don't want you to need us, right? We want you to need you. We want you to be able to do it on your own.
Yeah.
All right, so listen, it's Friday. All right, so we know y'all busy on Saturday. I think what's tomorrow? Tomorrow is a special day. I forget. It's not Small Business Saturday.
Oh, I was thinking football. You were talking business. I'm sorry.
I'm always talking business.
I'm always talking football.
It's something tomorrow. So we'll pop back in on Sunday, and of course we'll have our regular podcast on Monday. But this week was important because to me, again, the softer side of 2024, we wanted to kind of bring you out of 2024 with like a really renewed mindset. A lot of times people like to do this in January. I think doing it in January is too late because you usually have to hit the ground running for all different things at the beginning of the year. Why don't you come out of 2024 ready for 25, all right? It'll make a big difference for you.
Sounds great.
All right,
I'm ready.
Out. We'll see you in a couple days.
Bye.
Love.